Why couldn't you ever acknowledge 3 before or after his death?
This new footage of Mo3 and Yella Beezy in the studio is going viral, and people can't stop talking. Not long after this video was recorded, Mo3 lost his life in a tragic shooting, and when Beezy was questioned about it, he seemed completely unfazed. Like, what was really going on between them? Now, fast forward a few years, and Beezy ends up behind bars facing major accusations connected to Mo3's death. Authorities claim he wasn't just aware of what happened, they say he actually helped organize it. So how do you go from sharing a mic to being linked to something this serious? And reports even say a woman was somehow involved in setting the plan in motion. This story just keeps getting wilder. A resurfaced clip of Yella Beezy and MO3 posted by a college kid on X shows them chilling in the studio, laughing, vibing, making tracks with no sign of tension at all. Just $2 artists working side by side. But now, the timing of this footage has everyone looking twice. It dropped only days after Yella Beezy, real name Marquise Conway, was arrested on March 20th, 2025, facing serious legal charges. Investigators say Beezy allegedly connected with Keywan White, who's accused of targeting Mo3, real name Melvin Noble. Fans are calling this studio footage the calm before the storm, saying it might have caught the exact moment before everything fell apart.
Why couldn't you ever acknowledge 3 before or after his death?
What was the point?
Prosecutors believe Beezy didn't just want Mo3 out of the picture. They say he allegedly set the entire situation up. And that's exactly what's making this new clip explode online. If all this is true, then what went down wasn't just some random street issue. It was a cold, planned setup that ended in tragedy. Everything reached its breaking point on November 11, 2020. Mo3 was driving down Interstate 35 in Dallas when someone reportedly approached his car. Witnesses said the person was a tall man dressed in black. Mo3 jumped out trying to get away, but the man chased after him and shots were fired. Multiple rounds echoed through the freeway and Mo3 was struck. He was rushed to the hospital, but sadly, he didn't make it. Less than a month later, on December 10th, police arrested 21-year-old Keywan Dontrell White. Then, about a year later, another man named Devin Maurice Brown was taken in connection to the case. Neither one of them has gone to trial yet, but even before those arrests, the city of Dallas was already whispering one name, Yella Beezy. One major red flag popped up when Mo3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, filed a lawsuit claiming that Beezy and his crew got into a physical altercation with him at a Dallas nightclub. Reports say he suffered a dislocated hip from that incident, and what made things worse was the claim that Beezy's team later bragged about it in a video. That all happened just months before Mo3 lost his life, and people couldn't ignore the timing. For a while, Beezy was out and about with no charges or arrests, but the rumors never stopped spinning. Between the nightclub fight, the lawsuit, and those online threats, tension was already brewing. Then came a new twist, the story about the woman. According to the Shade Room, Mo3 had just left the woman's house when he noticed something strange, like someone might have been watching him. The car behind him wouldn't back off. That's when Mo3 knew something was wrong. He got back on I-35 trying to get away fast, but during the chase, his car crashed. He tried to make a run for it, but sadly, he didn't make it out alive. According to TMZ, Mo3 was desperately trying to escape from the people chasing him just moments before he was fatally shot on the Dallas freeway. Another line from the report claimed that after the crash, Mo3 ran on foot, terrified for his life, before being struck by gunfire in daylight broad day. The way it all happened didn't feel like some random street altercation. It felt planned. Police never released the name of the woman Mo3 was visiting that day, but fans quickly started connecting dots online. Many claim she might have had ties to Yella Beezy's circle. Nothing was ever officially confirmed, but no one denied it either. As the silence dragged on, the internet started piecing together its own version of events, and the rumors only grew louder. Then last year, during an interview on the Lamp channel, Yella Beezy finally broke his silence. He didn't seem too bothered by the talk and said he don't feed into rumors. His exact words were, "Certain things need to be addressed, certain don't." He followed up with, Stop attaching me to all that because it ain't got nothing to do with me. He looked calm while saying it, almost like he rehearsed those lines a few times. Right now, Yella Beezy is being held in Dallas County Jail on a $2 million bond. Local outlet WFAA-TV even released footage showing him being taken into custody, hands cuffed behind his back. Several officers surrounded him as he kept glancing around but didn't say a word. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office released a short statement saying, "We do not comment on pending cases." With Yella Beezy locked up and the old studio footage back in the spotlight, everyone started circling back to the big question. How did this whole feud even begin? The tension between Mo3 and Yella Beezy didn't explode overnight. Both rappers were coming up fast in the Dallas scene during the late 2019s, and both proudly rep Oak Cliff, a claim that carries serious weight in that city. But things started shifting when comedian Roy Lee stepped into the mix. Roy Lee was tight with Mo3 and never hesitated to speak his mind. Back in 2017, Roy Lee publicly challenged Beezy's claim to Oak Cliff, and that move stirred things up big time. He made it clear that he was riding with Mo3, and just like that, the lines were drawn.
We ain't never had no problem.
You never had no problem. Okay.
The tension went from words to warnings, and everyone in Dallas could feel it heating up. Then, on September 25, 2018, tragedy struck. Roy Lee was shot in the North Dallas Shopping Center parking lot. He fought hard for his life, but sadly passed away weeks later on October 13th due to complications from his injuries. And in a shocking twist, just one day after that, on October 14th, Beezy himself was shot multiple times in a drive-by attack. He survived, but fans instantly started connecting the dots, calling it possible retaliation. One violent incident after another, the feud had clearly gone way beyond music. Mo3 didn't stay silent. In 2019, he fired back through his songs, releasing diss tracks that left no room for confusion. One of the most talked about was 219, which dropped on Roy Lee's birthday. In that track, Mo3 openly accused Beezy of having a hand in Roy Lee's death, and even hinted that there was money on Beezy's name. One tweet summed it up perfectly. The Mo3 and Yella Beezy feud turned serious after Beezy avoided a fight with Mo3's friend Roy Lee. Lee was later killed, and that set off a chain of wild events across the city. That should have been the moment everyone stepped back, but instead, things only kept heating up. Even fans on Reddit started digging deeper, trying to piece it all together. One post straight up said, "Yeah, I know Mo3's ego started growing and he was talking a lot online. Just didn't know if that's what really got him caught up." The drama clearly wasn't just about music. It was pride, ego, and non-stop online pressure feeding the tension.
Then came Beezy's 2024 interview on Can I Vent, where he finally got asked a tough question. Why he never spoke publicly about Mo3's death or even acknowledged him before or after it happened. Beezy didn't flinch one bit. He just shrugged like it didn't bother him. That reaction shocked people everywhere. He went on to say that Mo3 was dismissive toward him when he was alive and even claimed Mo3 was jealous of his success. That statement hit hard because it made everything sound way more personal than anyone thought. It wasn't just about competition. It was about deep issues between two artists who came from the same city. Still, Beezy tried to smooth things over in another interview later on. When asked if he ever got along with Mo3, he simply responded with, "Okay." That short answer didn't really match the energy from before, but the contradictions didn't stop there. When someone asked about Mo3's influence on Dallas music after his passing, Beezy said, like on the whole city. Mo3 had his own words on record too. After Yella Beezy's 2018 shooting, where Beezy was reportedly hit 3 times while driving, Mo3 was asked what he thought about it, and his response was ice cold. He said, "It is what it is." No sympathy, no emotion. Just a straight-up reply like it didn't even matter. Mo3 also tried to clear things up in a later interview, claiming that the tension between them wasn't real and that it was all based on gossip and misunderstandings. But fans weren't buying it because the lyrics, interviews, and even the lawsuits all painted a completely different picture. The tension was obvious, the shots were real, and neither side ever really backed down. The back and forth between them just kept piling up. When news of Yella Beezy's arrest finally dropped, the internet completely blew up. Twitter turned into a war zone of opinions and theories. One post said, "Yella Beezy messed up bad. He had every chance to change his life, but thought he was untouchable. Now look at him, 5 years later caught up." Another comment didn't hold back either. saying Yella Beezy is the definition of a fake friend. You really can't trust anyone these days. The energy online was wild. Everyone had something to say. Then came the tweet that really made people stop and think. Texas gave Tay K 55 years, and he didn't even pull the trigger. He was just there. So what you think Texas gonna do to Yella Beezy if this charge sticks? Twitter had already gone off on him, but let's be real. This wasn't the first time Yella Beezy's name had been caught up in controversy. His history with the law had already made headlines long before this latest charge came around. Back on February 14, 2021, Beezy was arrested in Dallas for unlawful possession of a firearm. He didn't stay behind bars long though. He was released the same day. But that moment marked the start of a long string of run-ins that kept his name in the spotlight.
That was a big impact for him, like on the whole city.
Then, on August 11th of that same year, Beezy got arrested again, this time for alleged drug and weapon-related charges. Details were vague, with no clear word on what exactly was involved, but the headlines were enough to keep fans talking and critics watching. It was clear Beezy was having trouble staying away from legal drama. The biggest situation hit just a few months later, on November 5th, 2021, when Beezy was arrested in Plano, Texas. That one exploded across social media immediately. He was facing a serious assault allegation along with another weapon charge. It was intense, but in June 2022, the assault charge was officially dismissed due to lack of evidence. Still, by then, the damage had already been done. Because people rarely remember the dismissal, they remember the headline. And just when things seemed to calm down, Yella Beezy's name popped up again in July 2024, this time in a lawsuit with Chris Brown. 4 men filed a case in Harris County, Texas, claiming they were invited to a VIP experience at Chris Brown's concert at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. But instead of the chill night they expected, they said things went sideways and that they were allegedly jumped by Brown's entourage, with Beezy reportedly present during the chaos. They said he was right there when it all happened, but Beezy's lawyer quickly shut those claims down. The attorney told the Shade Room that Yella Beezy was not involved in any incident, did not have any contact with the plaintiffs, and does not understand why he was listed in the lawsuit or the temporary restraining order, both of which were clearly filed before all the facts were gathered and verified. Even with that official denial, people couldn't help but notice the pattern. Guns, altercations, arrests, and now a capital charge. Each situation made it harder for folks to believe Beezy just kept ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time. The legal headlines were wild, but to really understand how Yella Beezy reached this point, you gotta rewind his story. Before the fame, before the courtroom drama, he was just Marquise Conway, a kid from Dallas trying to survive tough circumstances. Growing up in Oak Cliff, life hit him early and hard. When he was only 12 years old, tragedy struck. His father was killed at their home on Mother's Day. That kind of pain doesn't fade away easily. It shapes who you become. Beezy threw himself into sports as a kid. Football and basketball were his outlets. At one point, he dreamed of going pro, but life didn't play out that way. As a teenager, he got pulled into street life and started making risky moves to help his family get by. It wasn't about fame or danger. It was about survival in a neighborhood where options were limited. He went on to attend Lancaster High School and actually graduated, which not everyone expected at the time. But by then, music had already started calling his name. Beezy began writing lyrics at just 13 years old. Inspired by Southern rap legends like Boosie and Kevin Gates, he didn't waste a single moment chasing his dream. By just 14 years old, he dropped his first mixtape, Mash Mode Overload, proving he was already serious about his craft. Then came Lil Yella Mane 2 years later, showing off his growth and hunger to make it big. But it wasn't until 2015 that he really started catching attention with his hit Trappin' Designer off the project Broke Nights Rich Days. Then came 2017, the year that everything changed. Beezy dropped Light Work Volume 2, featuring the breakout track, That's On Me. That record didn't just catch attention, it took over. The song went viral, dominated airwaves, and climbed all the way to number 56 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became the anthem that put Yella Beezy on the map. That success landed him a major deal with L.A. Reid's label Hitco, co-signed by R&E executive Chris Turner in 2018. Beezy kept the momentum rolling with his next project, Ain't No Going Back, which packed some serious fire. And in his recent documentary titled Ain't No Going Back, Yella Beezy Documentary, he takes viewers deep into his story, back to where it all started in Dallas.
Man, whoever got the motherfucking freeway blocked out need to get y'all shit together, dog. God damn. Nick ain't get on the freeway.
In the second part of the 5-episode series, directed by Ryan Snyder and premiered on XXL, Beezy walks fans through his early grind, long before That's On Me made him a star. He opens up about how music wasn't even his first plan. I was good at sports, he tells the camera. I was really good at football and basketball, especially football. I wanted to go pro, but life had other plans. I've been grinding since I was 13, Beezy says proudly. That's over a decade of non-stop hustling hard lessons. Even though he was dropping mixtapes left and right, the Dallas radio stations just weren't showing him love back then. The buzz wasn't clicking, and that frustration started to weigh heavy on him. His mom spoke on it in the Ain't No Going Back documentary, saying, I think Beezy got frustrated because it wasn't going as fast as he wanted it to. But I always told him, don't give up, you got this, keep pushing. That motivation kept him locked in when quitting might have been easier. Then came Trap and Designer in 2015, the track that finally changed everything. It didn't need a record label or radio cosign. The streets of Dallas picked it up and ran with it. When the city loves a song, it becomes unstoppable, and Beezy knew exactly how to speak to that crowd. In Dallas, it's a fashion city. The girls want the ones who stay fly. If you're not wearing this or rocking that, people think you broke. It's like a whole fashion show out here. But it wasn't just flexing or showing off. He was painting a real picture of the Dallas lifestyle. A world full of ambition, street hustle, and big dreams coming out of lofts, condos, and flashy homes. Every day you step out, you gotta look right. Ain't no basketball shorts or chill clothes. People put on designer just to hit the store. Trap and Designer became his first breakout, and Beezy said it perfectly. We were really living what we were talking about. That authenticity hit hard, and Dallas could feel it. Even local DJ Chaotic from 97.9 The Beat admitted, I never used to play Yella Beezy's music until a friend hit me up about the buzz. I got on the phone and told him, yo, I've been slipping, but I'm not slipping no more. From that moment on, DJ Chaotic said he started seeing Yella Beezy everywhere. Beezy knew exactly what that song Trap and Designer meant for his come up. It was the track that cracked the door open. I'ma put it like this. If I was from Atlanta, Trap and Designer would have been to That's On Me of that time period. Coming from Dallas just made the climb harder, but it still blew me up. His Ain't No Going Back documentary also pulled in the people closest to him. His mom, his manager, and even his grandma. It wasn't just about his success, it was about the family that watched every grind, setback, and victory from day one. They spoke on his work ethic, his struggles, and the pride of watching him go from the neighborhood to the national stage. That same year, Beezy hit another milestone. He opened for Jay-Z and Beyonce during their On the Run 2 tour in both Dallas and Houston. That's not just a concert, that's stepping onto one of the biggest stages in the world. For a kid from Oak Cliff, that was proof the hustle had paid off. Then in 2019, Beezy dropped Back in Beezy, his first major mixtape under L.A. Reid's Hitco label. It came loaded with hits like Back at It Again with Quavo and Gucci Mane, and Restroom Occupied with Chris Brown, both tracks that charted and turned him into a certified name in the industry. His sound was everywhere, and his feature list kept growing. He even popped up on Ruby Rose's single Hit Show Dance alongside Nella Chopper, keeping his presence strong across multiple scenes. Known to the world as MO3, Melvin Abdul Noble Jr. was born on May 31st, 1992 in McKinney, Texas. He later moved to North Dallas, where the city's struggles and street energy helped shape his voice and his story. Life wasn't easy, but that's exactly what gave his music the raw edge people connected to. His career started gaining traction in 2014 with his debut mixtape Shotters. That same year, he dropped Hold Your Tongue, a remix of a track by Texas rap legend Mr. Lucci. That remix was a game changer. It put MO3 on the Dallas radar in a serious way. His flow, his honesty, and the way he told real stories about the streets made people sit up and listen. By 2016, MO3 wasn't slowing down. He doubled up with Shotters Reloaded. That project came with several standout tracks that hit hard, both lyrically and emotionally. The music caught the attention of Baton Rouge icon Boosie Badass, who saw something special in MO3, raw, unfiltered talent with a real message. Boosie quickly reached out, and that connection turned into a powerful bond between the two artists. By 2019, MO3 had officially leveled up. He dropped Everybody featuring Boosie, a collaboration that would go on to be one of his biggest and most beloved songs. It wasn't just a hit because of the names involved, it hit because it was pure emotion. The pain, the melodies, and that southern grit were all there, blended into one unforgettable track. MO3 wasn't trying to sound perfect. He was being real, and that's what made his music timeless. Then in 2020, MO3 and Boosie teamed up again for their joint project, Badass MO3. It debuted at number 13 on the Billboard 200, and for an independent artist without major label backing, that was a massive win. Even after his tragic passing, his legacy didn't stop there. His posthumous album, Shot Us Forever, dropped in April 2021 and climbed all the way to number 36 on the Billboard 200. MO3's voice still echoes through Dallas and beyond, raw, real, and unforgettable. His single Outside became an instant fan favorite. It first debuted at number 16 on the Billboard Bubbling Under 100, before eventually climbing to number 92 on the Billboard 100. But what made that song hit so deep wasn't just the numbers, it was the meaning behind it. After everything that happened, the lyrics carried a whole new kind of emotion. MO3's name wasn't known across Dallas just because of stats. It was his voice that made people listen. It wasn't just how he rapped, it was what he said. He didn't care about making songs that just sounded catchy. He wanted people to feel something every time they hit play. In one of his interviews, he said it plain and real. I'm trying to give a message. I ain't trying to rap just to make it sound good. I want you to feel it. Of course it gotta sound good. That's the only way they'll listen. But if it sounds good and you're saying something real, you don't just get them to listen, you get them to follow. That right there was MO3's secret, authenticity. You could literally hear the struggle and the pain in his voice. You could tell every lyric came from experience, not imagination. He wasn't out here trying to fit into the industry mold. He was telling his truth, no filter, no pretending. Even his stage name had a deep story. MO3 came from a mix of family names, Lil Mo from his mother's side and Third from his father. When he put them together, it became MO3. It wasn't just a catchy rap name, it was personal, a reflection of where he came from and who he represented.
When Mo3 passed away, he didn't just leave behind hit songs, he left behind a legacy and a family who loved him deeply. He was survived by his parents and his children, Malaysia, Malia, and Tremont Noble. Mo3's death hit Dallas like a shockwave. The city felt it deep. And now with Yella Beezy officially facing charges in connection to the case, all that old pain has come rushing back. People tried to move on, but social media hasn't let the story rest. Twitter is still flooded with memories and heated takes. One post read, "Though nobody wants you gone more than someone who used to be your friend. R.I.P. Mo3. Another user added, "Mo3 really had him scared to come outside, for real, for real." Mo3's passing didn't just reopen the wounds connected to Yella Beezy. It stirred up everything and everyone tied to him. And one name that kept resurfacing in the conversations was Trap Boy Freddy. Now, a lot of people in Dallas showed love after Mo3's death, posting tributes and heartfelt messages about his legacy and impact. But Trap Boy Freddy's reaction had the internet raising eyebrows, not because he said something cruel right away, but because of how he acted the day it all went down. Let's rewind for a second. Mo3 and Trap Boy Freddy were both Dallas rappers, both on the rise, both loud, confident, and competitive. For a while, there were rumors they had been cool, maybe even friends before things started to fall apart. Nobody really knows the exact reason the relationship went left, but once it did, there was no fixing it. Their tension showed up in the music, on social media, and even in public appearances. They traded subtle disses and songs, threw shots on Instagram stories, and made it clear they weren't on good terms anymore. Then came that tragic day, November 11th, 2020. Not long after Mo3 was fatally shot on the Dallas freeway, Trap Boy Freddy hopped on Instagram, and the timing of his post had people talking non-stop. In one clip, he said something that didn't sit right with fans at all. He went on Instagram and said that the freeway was blocked right around the same time Mo3 had just been shot. Then in another video, he added, "What they got going on?" At first glance, it might have seemed like he was just irritated about the traffic, but fans weren't convinced at all. The timing was way too close for comfort. People online immediately started speculating, saying it looked like he already knew what had happened. Some even claimed it sounded like he was mocking Mo3's death, and that idea spread fast across social media. To make it worse, he didn't stop posting. That same day, more stories went up on his account, and one of them had everyone talking. In one post he wrote, "Damn, R.I.P. my old friend, disloyal beef." He didn't drop any names, but people instantly connected the dots.
The internet ran wild with theories, screenshots, and accusations. It didn't take long for the backlash to hit, and Trap Boy Freddy eventually tried to explain himself. He responded on Instagram saying, "I have no rap beef. Don't get in my business." But instead of clearing things up, it almost made people talk even more. Then he followed up with another story saying, "When I say the other side, I mean the hood, the opposition only. I have no beef unless someone wants some." So basically he was saying, there's no rap beef, but if someone wanted trouble, he wasn't backing down either. The message didn't exactly calm things down. Now, to be clear, Trap Boy Freddy was never named or tied to Mo3's murder case in any official way. Authorities have not linked him to what happened, but those posts, especially the timing and the way he commented about the freeway being blocked while the tragedy had just occurred, left a lot of people uneasy. Trap Boy Freddy's post that day didn't just stir up gossip, they straight up ignited chaos online. People weren't just watching anymore, they were reacting hard, and the internet had a lot to say. One tweet cut through the noise completely, calling out his behavior. "Man, that's lame. He just had to let everyone know, running his mouth for attention." And it didn't stop there. Another user pointed out what happened after the freeway clip. In the next video, Freddy was seen popping champagne and talking about throwing a party that same night. That freeway post was already rubbing people the wrong way, but celebrating afterwards, that sent the social media into a frenzy. Fans didn't need him to mention any names. They felt like the message was already loud and clear. Then came a tweet that perfectly summed up what most people were feeling in the moment. It simply read, "Play close to the fire, and don't be surprised when it burns back." It wasn't a threat. It wasn't even trying to sound tough. Just a cold, quiet statement that hit everyone like a warning. Whether Trap Boy Freddy meant what people think he meant, or if it was just a mix of bad timing and worse judgment, the reaction was real, and it was massive. People across Dallas and beyond were debating his intentions, dissecting every word, every post, every video. Some defended him, saying it was all coincidence, while others swore he was being shady on purpose. The tweets, the rants, the champagne, none of it could undo what had already happened. Mo3 was gone, and the people who once stood beside him either stayed silent or spoke up in ways that only made things worse. The whole situation left a cloud hanging over Dallas that still hasn't fully cleared. That old studio footage of Mo3 and Yella Beezy laughing together hits completely different now. Back then, it looked like two talented artists vibing, building something big, and sharing a real moment. But looking at it today, it feels haunting, like a calm before a storm no one saw coming. Two men chasing the same dream in the same room, yet one would lose his life on the Dallas freeway, while the other now sits behind bars facing the consequences of what authorities say he set in motion. Mo3's music was always about struggle, loyalty, and betrayal. He spoke on pain and loss long before it ever reached him personally. His lyrics carried a sense of urgency, like he somehow knew time wasn't promised. And when he said he wanted people to feel his music, he meant every word. Years later, we finally understand what he was trying to tell us. His songs weren't just tracks. They were warnings, reflections, and raw emotion from a man who lived every bar he wrote. And now, even in his absence, his words still echo through Dallas and far beyond, a reminder of how fast things can change when fame, pride, and pain collide. Thank you for watching this story. If you want to see more deep dives into stories like this, check out the videos on your screen by clicking one of the suggested cards.